Hello there.
Hey, there you are.
Yeah, I've been looking for you. Uh,
Yeah, I was right. All right, I guess when they'll see it, we'll split. But right now, I'm right up here.
Here. Okay, great. Well, anyway,
Great.
welcome
Enough
everyone
of that.
to the first edition of. I guess we've settled on the TBD show,
Hmm.
um, and this is a special show in which Rag and I really go through all of the transactions and kind of put them into perspective for everyone because
Yeah.
it seems no one else is doing that. So there was a void to fill, and we elected ourselves to do that. So uh, thank you all for joining us, and we're going to dive right in. Going back a couple weeks ago, September 10th, just to jump off here, Justin Forsett goes for $200 after week one of games. Why don't you lead us off on your analysis of that waiver acquisition?
Um, well. First of all, I love when people go nuts and just throw money around on the waiver wire. Like I eat that up because I do it myself. But Justin Forsett, like he's not a good running back, and he didn't have a clear path. I mean, he did have a clear path to be the starter, but there were other guys that were going to interfere with that. I mean, Bernie Pierce was going to come back, fairly soon, and he had pretty much been given the reins once Ray Rice was out of the picture. But then the other takeaway, I was thinking like $200 is probably more than Justin Forsett makes himself. So. I mean, if he was in this league, even he couldn't have competed with Jed. So
He
hats
couldn't
off to
even buy
Jed. I mean, he's a
himself.
big spender. He got his man. No,
He got his man,
that's
and,
my
and
that's my thoughts on that.
it's interesting because Ben Ingram goes down. Jed actually needs a running back. Forsett has been able to stay somewhat relevant, excuse me, in that offense. I'm not sure how long it'll
Yeah,
last or if it's worth the $200, but either way, that was just an interesting move to start the season. Um, anyway,
yeah.
Uh, that's from, of course, several weeks ago. A lot has happened since then. We
Hmm.
really want to focus on some trades, and we'll start with the
Yeah,
first trade
a
of the
ton of
season.
them.
Ton of trades, and we'll get to all of them. We're going to start with the initial one that opened up the APHB season. You acquire Calvin Johnson for a broken-legged Brandon Marshall and the RB3 for the Browns.
So, I mean, from that little intro, I take it that you thought I won the trade. Can I assume that much?
Yeah, I think I even said that on this last webcast video that I was in. I mean, Megatron
You
is in
do
my.
other webcast videos? Whoa, 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 whoa. Who are you cheating on me with? You
Well,
doing other webcast videos?
yes, and I am a company man, so I should encourage everyone to watch the preview and recap shows brought to you maybe weekly, maybe not by Ross and Jamie. They are of
Okay.
mediocre performance, and they're the only other show that this league has, so enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, they're great. They're great.
They're great.
So yeah, with that trade, I had picked up Terrence West on the waiver wire and spent a pretty penny for him. And I thought, he's a rookie running back. I heard he was pretty decent and he was going to get a shot to be the starter. But I mean, it was more just like picking up an asset. Maybe I can spin him if he plays well. Someone desperate enough that needed a running back in Chuck. So he decided to give me the best wide receiver of all time for an injured wide receiver and a really shitty rookie running back. So yeah, I'm with you, I guess. I think I won the trade. I won the trade.
You won that trade, although it did not last because, as we
No.
will soon find out, Calvin Johnson was not long for the Ducktown Quackers. Real quick, though, I want to
No, he
touch
didn't fit it.
on a couple waiver wire acquisitions. After that trade, Donald Brown goes for $80, and if you think that's crazy, Mohamed Sanu goes for $79. Larry Donnell goes for $50. Devontae Adams goes for $37, and Andre Roberts goes for $35, the same amount as Kirk Cousins, who may not have a job anymore. And you actually had Damian Williams from the Dolphins for $25. So following that trade, there were a lot of big spenders. Some of them worked out, although I don't think any of them, other than Donnell, really will pan out this season.
I have a question on Donnell. So being in New York, I get a lot of a lot of New York Giants fans, especially in my office, who I talk football with, and they pretty much think that Larry Donnell is the next Jimmy Graham. I just was hoping that I'm not the only one that thinks that those will be the only 3 touchdowns of his career. Am I alone in thinking that?
No.
Look, the kid's a good player, but I think that was an anomaly. I don't think he's going to score 48 touchdowns this year. I just don't think it's going to happen.
I know you're kind of going.
I might be wrong.
You could be.
I might be wrong.
Going out on a limb with that analysis there. I think he's certainly garnered the respect of Eli, and that offense is looking better. I don't think he's completely irrelevant. I think he's going to be a good fantasy tight end. He's not going to be putting up 30, 20. I think he's going to settle more in that 8 to 12 points per game range.
No, I was exaggerating. I think he is a good fantasy start, just like you said. And they're few and far between for tight ends. So I don't know. It was worth $55.
Oh yeah, well, especially since he had a career game following that up. It was definitely worth $50. It made me look like a jackass because I was shit talking Donnell while trying to trade Gates to Ricky, and then he does that, so I don't have a leg to stand on in that trade anymore. Speaking of trades, the second trade of the season, technically third. The real second trade was James Starks for Justin Hunter, which is the most pointless trade of all time. So we're going to dive right into the third trade, which you were also involved in. You gave away Carlos Hyde.
Wait, was that a trade did Ross make that trade? Because he does a lot of trades like that.
No, that was actually Chooch sending Starks to Jamie. I think Jamie was looking for a little Eddie Lacy insurance.
Okay, that's right. That makes sense.
So anyway, I don't think either one of those players has hit the starting rotation for either of those teams.
No.
So anyway, getting right into the third trade, you were also involved in that. It was Carlos Hyde and Frank Gore and our main man Calvin Johnson for Rashad Jennings and Jimmy Graham. A great trade following that week when Calvin Johnson doesn't do a whole lot since, and Frank Gore didn't even touch the football, I don't think, the game after that.
Brendan caught some flack for that trade, but I don't think it was quite the home run that the immediate response I got. I think everyone was a little scared that I got Jimmy Graham because I feel like half the league thinks that Jimmy Graham is a top 5 asset, and the other half don't pay attention to fantasy football, so they don't realize that. But I don't know. I mean, Frank Gore looked great last week, and 2 weeks ago when San Francisco tried to throw the ball, they couldn't even move it at all. So they're going to run the ball, and having Gore and Hyde, if Gore gets hurt, you have Hyde who's probably just going to take over the exact role that Gore had. So he's a legit handcuff. So I think Brendan did okay. It's a little unfortunate that immediately after the trade, Calvin Johnson was hurt. I didn't know he was hurt at the time, so that kind of sucks. No, I didn't have any inside info. Calvin didn't tell me he was. I pulled the trigger at the right time. And I think Jennings is a stud. I kind of get stuck watching some of the Giants games, and I don't know. He runs hard, and they run the ball a lot, and they're gonna score a lot now. Their offense looks good, so I feel like he's a top 8 or 9 running back all of a sudden.
Yeah,
the Ducks are a contender, all of a sudden.
Okay, well, we were actually talking about trades, not about your specific fantasy team. It just so happened that you were involved in this trade.
Well, I'm sorry if I made all the trades. I'm the one that made all the trades, so we're just talking about me.
So far, you have been the only one that made all the trades, but you can step down from your soapbox for a hot second. We're going to get into the week of Ross Berge following. So your big trade, that one. Getting back into your trade real quick, my take off that is it's yet to be seen. We all know Jimmy Graham, what he can do. Of course, we all know what Calvin Johnson can do, and we know what Frank Gore can do. Gore's getting up there in age. I think they're going to try to work Hyde in that offense a little bit more. But, of course, Brendan has both of them, so he can figure it out. He's a doctor, right? He's a smart guy. And Rashad Jennings didn't look great against
doctor. I don't know, smarty. What?
Rashad Jennings didn't look great against Washington, but that was coming off his short week. They obviously didn't want to overwork him after having him run the football.
And they were up by 30 points, right. And at that point, it's throw the rookie and give him some reps. I wasn't concerned with that.
Yeah, I don't think you put a lot of stock into that game.
No.
So we'll see what happens. All in all, I think it was a pretty good trade all around for everybody. Moving forward, Ross makes a slew of trades, starting with Kendall Wright, a starting number one wide receiver for the Tennessee Titans. He acquires for C.J. Anderson, the second or third string running back for the Denver Broncos, who is heading into his bye week. I wasn't crazy about this trade when it happened. Now that I'm looking at it again, it kind of makes me angry all over. I know Kendall Wright.
Tell us why you were angry. What made you upset about that?
Well, it may or may not have anything to do with the fact that I was facing Ross that week, but also I don't see the legitimacy in trading a backup running back going into his bye for a starting wide receiver, even on a bad team. I don't think those really even out so much. Now, I understand that Brendan has Monty Ball and he was looking for a handcuff, but Monty Ball wasn't playing any more that week than C.J. Anderson was because they were going into a bye week.
So what are you trying to get at? Do you think why would he have made that trade then?
I think Ross was trying to build up for more trades, which he ended up doing. And I'd be interested.
But what I'm asking is what was Brennan's incentive?
I'm not sure that Kendall Wright isn't coming back to him at some point.
Wow! Shots fired. I'll tell you what. I'm on board with you. I think there's some shit going on behind the scenes. I think it was let's do this. Scratch my back. I'll scratch your back during your bye week. We'll have to monitor it to see what happens. But
yes,
I'm with you.
Yeah,
I didn't say it though. You're the one speculating, but I'm just agreeing.
Yeah, and I'm only speculating here. I'm certainly not accusing anyone of anything. That trade has been red flagged though. Moving right along, Ross then turns around and pulls off another trade. He acquires Joyke Bell and Larry Fitzgerald and sends Keenan Allen and Marcus Wheaton to Jed.
Yeah, and then, Keenan Allen, I think Ross was a little impatient with him. San Diego's offense looks damn good, and just because Keenan Allen didn't get the ball for 3 weeks, he's not going to get it for the next 13. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's my takeaway. Fitz is done. I don't think he's got anything left. And I have Michael Floyd, and if you see them play, Michael Floyd actually can still run and catch the ball, where Larry Fitz struggles to play football. So I like Floyd better in that one, and I don't know. I don't know. I didn't understand it from Ross's perspective. I don't think he was getting out of the whole Keenan Allen thing, as he kind of phrased it. I think he just sold low on him.
Well, Keenan Allen at this point has been on nearly every team in our league, it seems.
Yeah. He's a fantasy whore, is what we call him.
And you know what? I think Jed really, obviously, hindsight, is 2020, of course, but Keenan Allen and Marcus Wheaton are both great assets to have, considering what he gave away. I mean, Joy Bogo's down with a concussion. We're not sure when he's coming back.
Yeah.
And like you said, Fitzgerald just isn't the same. That offense is moving on from him. They're gonna rely on Michael Floyd.
Totally.
They've already integrated John Brown into that passing game, and then the running game with Andre Ellington. Those are their focus players.
Actually, just a quick tangent. I have it on good authority that they are officially moving on from Larry Fitzgerald, and he will be coming over to team with Tom Brady in exchange for a second-round pick. Going into, I don't know if it's going to be official this week, but it will probably be official next week. So look forward to that. Patriots will probably it'll rejuvenate their offense. I would imagine they're probably not going to lose again, and it would just be another Super Bowl win for us. So that would be something we're all looking forward to.
Well, yes.
Just a quick tangent, just a little inside info I got.
Well, we're all thankful for that inside info.
So don't sleep on Brady, everybody.
And, thankfully, he is now riding the pine on BMAC's team. So I'm sure he will. I'm sure that.
Well, it's perfect because BMAC only has Patriots on the team, so that BMAC's ahead of the curve.
Yes, that's a whole other storyline we'll get into. All right, we're gonna jump into the next trade. Graham actually makes a couple moves here, and he trades away Trent Richardson and Mohamed Sanu for Chris Ivory from John Hart. And at the time, I thought that Graham was really taking advantage of John, but who knew that Trent Richardson had a career game in him? And
I don't think Trent knew either.
Yeah, I think he actually just kind of fell into that situation, literally.
Yeah. I have a weird with Chris Ivory though. It's like you watch the Jets play. And Chris Ivory looks really good, and it's just, for some reason, I know what it is. It's that the Jets are just inept, and they can't figure anything out, that they don't realize what they have. Because Chris Ivory is a hell of a running back. He's really fast, he runs hard, and somehow they're given, the keys to Geno. And it's like, hey guys, why don't you just play smash mouth football and good defense? And that's why you made the playoffs 3 or 4 years ago.
Well, and that's the most frustrating.
Kind of blows my mind. But I love it.
It's a great storyline. We all enjoy following it. But it is really interesting because by doing just that, where you hand the ball off to a capable running back and they control the clock and the game tempo, it actually looks better on Geno. So you don't have to spend all of your time defending your quarterback choices, talking about whether or not you're going to bring in big or if Geno's the guy for the job. Because if you win games, no one gives a shit about who your quarterback is.
I mean, they have more problems than that, though. If occasionally you do have to mix it in with a little play action, and in order to do that, you got to have somebody to throw you. When Jeremy Curley is your number one wide receiver, where he probably wouldn't be the number one wide receiver on a lot of Division I football teams. I don't know. I mean, their struggles. I mean, we're simplifying things, but I think they should give the ball to Chris Ivory a lot more.
Well, of course we're simplifying things. That's what we're here for. But I don't think Eric Decker...
Yeah, I don't even know that much about football. I'm not going to get into the X's and O's. I don't even watch football.
Decker is a capable receiver. Curley doesn't belong as a number one or number two, but I think he's caught at least 5 footballs over his lifetime. So he can do it. You're right. I mean, they need to rely on their defense and that run game, and thank God we're here to figure that out for the Jets. Maybe they watch this video and they turn their season around, but that most likely won't happen. So
I'll send it to Rex.
Good. Next trade up. There were actually a string of trades there. Right after the trade we just discussed, Jake sends DeMarco Murray, Pierre Garçon, and Golden Tate to Ross for Russell Wilson, who was on a bye, Kendall Wright, who Ross had just acquired, Mike Wallace, and LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah, a lot of really interesting trade there. What do you think of Shady McCoy right now? Like, what is his value, and what does he look like going forward?
Well, okay. Any wise fantasy player knows it's not just about that individual player's ability. I think LaShawn McCoy in a vacuum as a running back is fine. I think the Eagles' offensive line is just in shambles, and he can't find anywhere to run. And he's losing touches to Sproles, which doesn't help. He can't get in a groove, and that's how that offense operates. My insider, Brandon Grimm, has reported to me that they function best by running play after play after play, and they hit their groove, and then they just kind of go full steam ahead. They haven't been able to do that because their O-line's dropping like flies. They're relying more on their passing game, which has been capable, but that's not where they're going to make their mark. I don't think that's where they're looking to make their mark. So
doesn't that have to be expected from the way they're trying to run, twice as many plays as everyone else? Like, I think last year there was a lot of attention brought to how, especially when people were talking about fantasy, how Shady McCoy was going to get hurt because he's running so many plays and he's running them quickly and he's not getting a chance to get off the field. How about the offensive linemen, the guys that are 350 pounds that are having to pick their asses up and get right on the line and then, take on, a blitz? Of course they're going to drop like flies. They're not in good shape. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a system that's built for the long term, but
they're not built.
Maybe he's going to take it and, move on to a better job. Maybe he could coach your Cowboys next year.
Let's hope so.
No? Okay, well.
So anyway, on the flip side, as we know, LaShawn McCoy wasn't long for Jake's team. We'll get to the rest of that trade in a second. But Jake did add yet another Seattle Seahawk to his roster.
That's his thing.
It was tough sledding there for him last week when they were all on a bye. But now he has a quarterback, a running back, and a wide receiver that don't have a bye moving forward.
Yeah, that's big. They're all on the same team, so he kind of limits his potential a little bit. But, yeah, it is nice to get rid of all your wides. I mean, he's in good shape already. What is he, 3-1? So.
Yeah. Although, if DeMarco Murray gets hurt, this trade looks a lot better for Jake. As it stands, I'm not. Well, he moved Shady, which he needed to do. But I don't know if Jake really won out on that trade. But we're gonna jump right in.
I understand what he's. Yeah, I understand. The DeMarco Murray thing's I don't know. It's a risk, but yeah, you're right. He could have given away his chance to win the league by giving away DeMarco Murray.
You package Murray and Lynch, and you kind of don't really need to.
I mean, Murray. If Murray keeps this up, he's going to be far and away be the fantasy MVP. It won't even be close.
Right, and you have no way of knowing that, of course.
No, he always gets hurt, but still.
Yep. Another quick waiver wire touch. Following that trade, Grimm adds Jacksonville Jaguars stud Allen Robinson for $111. Thoughts on that?
What's the name of that?
It's Allen Robinson for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars. It's called a Jaguar. The Jaguar. Not a Jaguar.
Oh, I don't know if we're talking about the same
team. Jacksonville Jaguars.
I don't know if we're talking about the same team.
Let's move on. Let's just move on. No, it's the same team. It's the same team. I think your accent is changing in Arkansas. You're talking like a redneck.
Yeah, well,
although you always kind of were.
What? All right,
come on.
So you spend $5 on Jeremy Curley, the wide receiver who you just said couldn't play D1 football. I just want to make.
There's not a lot available. and I needed someone to plug in on a bye week, and yeah, I was hoping he'd get a touchdown. He's one of those guys. He's entirely touchdown dependent.
Did he get a touchdown?
Yeah, he caught a pass. He
Was
caught
it
a
for a
pass, but he
touchdown?
wasn't in the end zone.
Ah,
No. So he caught one pass, but he wasn't in the end zone, so he only scored 0.8 points. But I don't regret it. I don't regret it for a second, because I think if you play that game 10 times, 9 of the times he probably puts up 20, 25 points, and I just got unfortunate that was that one game, where he put up 0.8 points.
you're absolutely right. So just kind of ignoring all of that you just said, the next trade, then Jake moves Shady, along with Mike Wallace and Brian Hartline, to Chooch for Alfred Morris, Stephen Ridley, and Victor Cruz.
I love Victor. I feel like
he
kind of got forgotten a little bit. He looks really good right now, and I mean, going into the season, I feel like a lot of people were high on him. And I mean, I understand, because the Giants look like shit for 2-3 weeks.
Yep.
But all of a sudden, if they've got this figured out, I mean, Victor Cruz is a PPR machine. I mean, he's gonna catch, at least a pace for 110 balls, and if he can break a few, which he's done in the past, I mean, he has the potential to be a top 5 wide receiver in our league. So I like that. I think that was a pretty good play, good trade. And Alfred Morris, I mean, he puts up a ton of yards if he gets in the end zone. I don't know. I guess he's not a stud in our league, but he's pretty dependable. So, I mean, at the running back slot, that's important.
Well, and I think what this does is it spreads the wealth a little bit for Jake, at least at the time that he made this trade. Now he's not relying solely on Lynch and Murray. Now he's spread out between Ridley and Morris and a couple other guys. Now he's got Cruz in the mix. So he's still got quality players. He's not totally dependent on just some top-notch guys who are injury prone. So I think it was a wise move.
Yeah.
I agree. It'll probably pan out for Chooch too. I mean, I'm not giving up on McCoy. He's just too talented. I think the Eagles will figure it out. It's just bad luck. I think they've gone down with some injuries. They're getting some linemen back now. Maybe that'll help shore up some of that running game, and he can get back to his old ways of shredding folks. But only time will tell.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he has Chooch's stink on him now, though, and there's absolutely no way it's going to work out. But who knows?
Sorry, Chooch. He's got your...
No, we love you, Chuck. Yeah.
It's
good. It's so good. Just think.
I
don't even know what that means. Sorry,
that really brings us up to speed then in terms of, within the last few days. The next trade on the docket as, I send Shane Vereen packing to Jake for Tony Romo. There was a press release for that acquisition. In case anyone hasn't read it, it's in your inbox. That pretty much explains the thought process.
No one read it.
No one read it. Well, that's okay too. But it's there if you want to read it. It's very interesting. Mm-hmm. We get right into talking to the players, dive deep into their feelings and emotions, and a bunch of stuff that no one cares about.
Should I sum it up? I take still have a boner for Romo, so you just decided to trade for him. Is that what happened?
Quite honestly, it could have been any quarterback, and I would have made that same trade. Almost
Debatable.
Any starting quarterback, I would have made that same trade.
It just so happened to be the starting quarterback for the team you love. But yeah, you're right. You were definitely unbiased.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It was Shane Vereen. And it's not like I guess he didn't give up much. Well, let's talk about, because then Vereen was spun again.
Vereen was spun again in an actual a great move by Jake. He spins Vereen for Keenan Allen, which is now the fourth team that Keenan Allen has played for in our league.
I don't know how you possibly justify that trade. All right, so here's my take. My take on that trade is that I know. Well, first of all, I know for a fact that Jake is a Patriots fan. He's from Natick, which is the land of Flutie. And I also watch the games with him, so I literally know that he is a Patriots fan. So he watches the games. I also know, based on that trade, that Jed doesn't watch the games. Because if you had seen Shane Vereen in the Patriots offense at any point this year, you would not have traded Keenan Allen, a potentially, I don't know, top 10, 15 wide receiver.
Yeah.
He had a little bit of a slow start, but he looks better now, for an unplayable running back. Even when things are going good, you can't even count on Shane Vereen. So why would you count on him now? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. Am I being too hard on this trade? I know it was just a little one-for-one trade, but it just seems absurd to me.
Well, the only explanation that I have is that Jed literally had no other running back.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess you got to look at the situation. Yeah, that's true.
He had Justin Forsett starting, who we've already covered. Lamar Miller's on a bye. Mark Ingram is hurt. And those are the only running backs on his roster. I'm not making
I wonder who approached you. I mean, is Jake ahead? If Jake spotted this and saw him in a tough spot and was able, good for him. But if that's not the case and Jed just took that deal without fishing around a little bit, I don't know. Actually, no, I do know. It was an awful trade. It was an awful trade.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's not going to work out well for anyone other than Jake. Jed, I think he went in on Roy Halou off waivers just as to try to get a roster spot filled. But he lost out to Ricky. And by Ricky, if no one knows who I mean when I say Ricky, that's Snoots. So Snoots got
R.L. Snoots.
R.L. Snoots. So, yeah, I think it was a desperation play by Jed. I don't think he I don't think he made any other attempts. He might have. But at the end of the day, this is the one that he felt comfortable doing. He still has Demaryius Thomas, Malcolm Floyd, and Marcus.
He's got a good team. Definitely. And I hope it does work out. I like Vereen, but I don't see it.
I don't see it.
Especially with Larry Fitzgerald. Once Larry Fitz gets there, they're going to start throwing the ball. I know he's a part of the passing game, but they're just going to air it out. They don't have time to run the ball.
Oh, you're right. And I'm sure they're going to mesh.
It's going to be the greatest show on turf.
Mesh with each other right away. Okay, so we only have one trade left to cover. And yet again, we see a familiar face. You send Phillip Rivers and T.Y. Hilton to Johnny Hart for the number one wide receiver currently ranked in APHP Fantasy.
Yeah, so this trade, we started having early discussions on Monday night over Tecates and tequila. It was buy one get one for $6, I think. And we had, 7 or 8 of those. And we started talking fantasy football, and Johnny was desperate for a quarterback. I have an extra quarterback. I wanted a stud wide receiver. So, the seeds were planted over, half a bottle of tequila and about 15 beers. And then we finished the discussion today. And I was glad we got it done because I think we're both winners.
Yeah, you are.
John gets a stud quarterback, get a stud receiver. And we're all happy.
Wait, so you're happy that you got this done, just to clarify? Because no shit you are.
I'm happy I got it done. Yeah. Why? What do you think? You think I won that trade?
Oh, hold on. I got to tend to my emergency tornado warning alert that I was just notified on my phone by. So we may have to cut this a little short We were planning for an hour show.
Oh shit, we're only at.
only go to 35 minutes. So
I've been looking at that ticker down there. We're at 35 minutes. I don't know what the deal is.
No, you know what? This trade is absolute bullshit. You send Phillip Rivers, who, sure, he's a quality quarterback, but if John really needed a quarterback, he could find one on waivers. I don't think the difference between Phillip Rivers.
Who's available though? There's no one available.
Eli Manning's available right now.
And Phil Rivers is going to finish in the top. He's probably going to be 4th or 5th overall this year.
I don't need the sales pitch that you gave John over 2 bottles of tequila. There's no reason you give up the number 1 wide receiver for T.Y. Hilton and Phillip Rivers. Mm-hmm. But hey, that's my opinion.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
I think there's just one, and that's why we're balanced, Joe. You get both sides. Right. I think I lost the trade. I'm glad you think I won because I think I really fucked it up.
Oh, good. Well, then maybe John's willing to trade back for Antonio Brown.
No.
No, you want to hold on to him?
No.
All right.
I wouldn't do it.
And then just finalize a couple things. He drops Kirk Cousins after 1 bad game, which I think was a poor move. I think could have held on to him. You pick up maybe somebody like Alex Smith on waivers. You can get rid of Johnny Football already. There's no reason for him to be on John's bench. You can do matchup plays. I'm not running John's team. He's currently in first place, so what can I say? Keep doing your thing.
Yeah, I mean, right now John's quarterbacks, one of them hasn't played down in the NFL, and really all he's known for is being an absolute animal. I love him, and being in a Snickers ad. And then the other one is having a good year, but he's literally a clown in one of those bolo ties. There was no room for Phil Rivers on the Ducks. He was an absolute clown, and he was distracting all the guys. So, yeah, the more I think about it, I'm glad he's no longer on my team. And he's going to ruin Manziel. So, John, if you want to give me Manziel, let's talk.
All right. Well, this isn't a platform to you to make more trade offers. This is strictly a purely objective show regarding the trades and waiver wire acquisitions of the past. We will be coming to you more frequently, maybe not, in the future.
Wait, so I know this isn't a platform for me, like you just said, but I do have something I want to talk about. And I'm not getting paid or anything. I know I've sent out an email and multiple emails to some of you.
No one wants to do your DraftKings thing.
DraftKings has changed everyone in this country's life for the better. It's amazing.
Let's talk about something really important.
All right, so JK, the reason you don't like DraftKings is that you've been living under a rock. You don't see that, playing fantasy by week is way more fun because you can recover the following week. I didn't cash this week, but I cashed the week before. And this week's a whole new one. And this week, in particular, is the biggest one they've ever had. It's $27 entry fee. Wow. And the first place gets $1 million.
That's great.
What would you do with $1 million? You know how many Justin Forsets you can buy for $1 million? 50 in Justin Forsets. I don't know if I did the math right, but
okay,
5,000 Justin Forsets.
Let's talk about something of actual importance. So, what you guys see here is an officially autographed Cleo Lemon football.
Wait, what?
Yes.
The Cleo Lemon?
The one and only Cleo Lemon, previous former starting running back or quarterback, some position. He started somewhere for the Dolphins in their heyday of 2007, I believe. Not sure why he signed 12. I guess that was his number. But either way, what we've decided to do on this show is bring this I would call this a priceless item.
Yeah, there's no price I would pay for that. Definitely not. It's priceless.
Correct. So, last place. I don't know if you've ever felt the pain of last place, Rag. Although that's where you currently sit in your division.
Yeah, I finished in last place 2 years ago too. So yeah, I know it well.
And I've been in last place as well, and it stings a little bit. And
we know Cleo's been in last place. He's been in last place his whole life.
Cleo's still trying to dig his way out of last place. If I got my facts straight.
Yeah.
So you know what?
He still hasn't learned how to write. Somehow he has 2 slashes in his name. I don't think you spell Cleo CL,
That's the
CLNEA slash NEA slash 1-2. That doesn't say Cleo Lemon.
Hey, you know what? When you've started for the Toronto Argonauts, you can sign your name however you damn well please. Anyway, let's get to the point. Let's get to the point here, folks. The Cleo Lemon autographed football will now represent the trophy of the last place owner of the APHB League. We will be figuring out a way to appropriately decorate this, but I encourage everyone to start trying to earn we decided on the Lemon Award, is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense because, a lemon, like when you buy a car and it's broken, or we used to call my roommate's dog Jonah, since he always got sick. He was just kind of a lemon. So yeah, I think it's an appropriate name for the last place finisher.
Maybe we paint this yellow.
Yeah, I like it.
We're just brainstorming right now, but the point is, folks, we have a whole new trophy for you to go out there and work hard towards earning. Some of you are looking a little bit better than others. I think that tornado is actually about to hit any second now, so I'm going to go hop in my bathtub.
Ooh,
you guys
that would be a good way to end the show.
And we'll see you next week, hopefully. In the meantime, keep the trades up. Keep it real. Do you have a tagline you want to say? You want to sign off anyway?
No, I think my thing is going to be you say all that cool stuff, and maybe next time you even put your hat backwards, and I'll just kind of keep my mouth shut.
Next time. All right. Yeah. Keep your mouth shut. Let's see if you can do that for longer than just this show.